He said, I don't know what to do because I live in a place where I don't even have any black people in my town. I don't even know what's going. So how do we, if your only relationship is in a transactional way where people need something from you or they're giving you something but they're wearing a mask, and your only vision of them is through movies, TV, rap music, which is 70% again purchased by people outside of the black community. How do we even get past this identity thing when somebody's telling you I'm the boogeyman?
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
We're talking with Governor Andy Beshear, who's laid out the things that he's done, and I can't dispute it. But as I'm listening to you, and you're having some very compelling conversations with governors, New Mexico, you just had a beautiful woman and amazing, conversation.
Got great energy.
Yeah, Governor Westmore.
MLG.
Yeah, Governor MLG, Governor Westmore,
It's a
Governor
great friend of mine.
Amy Klobuchar. There've been some real conversations around policy, but I keep going back to this because I think that America, and I sit in a very unique seat because I'm able to see things that maybe you can't see. Kentucky is still very white.
It is.
And again, when people vote for Andy Beshear, they're voting for a person they know. So it doesn't matter whether you have a DRR next to your name. Trump was a registered Democrat, had all his family forever. What does it even, I'm saying, if we can throw away these labels, they're voting for you because you are somebody they trust, they know, they see you, they know your daddy, they know where you come from, they know what you believe in, they know your dog, they know everything about you.
And they know I'm being real.
And they know you're straight up because you have receipts. You have done the thing, And so it makes it real easy to cast a vote. They're not going in a booth thinking about, I'm not voting for a Democrat, because most of us are not led by that. We're led by identity more than anything. And I think we need to really start to have that conversation, because when I started this show 10 years ago, my radio show going on 11, Washington Post did this amazing survey study. I know you've probably seen it. They said 3/4 of white people who identify as white, which is a made up construct, they don't have any relationship with anybody black outside of, maid, those kind of relationships which are transactional. I know that's not the case with you, but in a world where people self-segregate, you have states like yours, like, Vermont and New Hampshire and North and South Dakota and Montana, where I had a caller on my show last week who's new to the show, just found it, and was happy to be part of because we create a family environment, everybody's welcome. He said, I don't know what to do because I live in a place where I don't even have any black people in my town. I don't even know what's going. So how do we, if your only relationship is in a transactional way where people need something from you or they're giving you something but they're wearing a mask, and your only vision of them is through movies, TV, rap music, which is 70% again purchased by people outside of the black community. How do we even get past this identity thing when somebody's telling you I'm the boogeyman, I'm the problem, I'm the criminal, I'm the drag on society, when most of us are not in jail, most of us are not, I grew up in a neighborhood, everybody had a daddy, everybody had a daddy, and it was all black because white people moved out when we moved in. How do we even start to have these conversations?
Well, for me, I have to start with understanding that I'll never feel the weight of racism, of discrimination, of the vestiges of Jim Crow and segregation, but I know they're real. And I know that they happen even today. And I know that I need to listen to people who experience them, and that many of the solutions will come from those that have felt that pain. To me, in Kentucky, it's about having real relationships with people that have different backgrounds than I do. My chief of staff is a strong black woman.
I know. I looked at I said, okay, Governor Beshear.
My deputy attorney general, my first secretary of the cabinet, was our first black district judge and broke so many ceilings, but he never wanted to talk about it because he didn't think he should have had to have been
Correct.
the first. But to have people that can guide you, but that you also listen to, has helped us do a number of things. Some symbolic, like we removed the statue of Jefferson Davis from our state capitol because no child should go in and see that statue and feel less than. Our legislature wouldn't do it, so I declared Juneteenth an executive branch holiday and signed an executive order based on the Crown Act because people shouldn't be discriminated against because of their hair. I never have been. But then you look at, we opened the first hospital in our largest African American community in 150 years. It's because somebody came to me with the idea, and I had listened and knew how important it was, and then we went about removing the obstacles, and it is one of the best, most advanced hospitals in the entire state. We found a way to incentivize businesses to move into those same communities and have announced about 1,000 jobs there. So I think it's about recognizing that even though I can't feel the depth of what people feel when they've been discriminated against, if we act intentionally and we work together, we can make some good things happen. And I close by saying I vetoed every anti-diversity bill that's come to my desk, and I still won re-election.
That's right. But
I'm still popular in my state because people respect conviction. And again, they're a lot more focused on their job than a lot of other things.
Governor Andy Beshear, this wasn't about, you have already shown improved. Okay, we know who you are. We know who you are. We know who you are because we know your fruit. Okay, what I'm saying is America. Yeah. I did a book with Keith Ellison, the first Muslim elected to Congress in a state
Attorney General.
A great attorney general now. State, it was, I think it was 1% Muslim, and 6% black at the time that he was elected and reelected and reelected. And his thing was, when you talk to people, once you, this is, my point is, if people self-segregate,
yes,
and their only engagement
right,
is through media that is already skewed.
Right.
And I worked in a newsroom, the Daily News was 4%. Today is 4%.
If they only talk to someone that looks like them.
Not just talk to, because this is not just about a conversation, it's about a relationship. You've had relationships. Keith Ellison's cousin is a dentist. He was a dentist in Owsley, Kentucky.
Oh, in Owsley County.
Yes.
Wow.
And this is when I first learned about Owsley, Kentucky,
yes,
which I think was 95% or 99% white, the poorest county at the time in the entire country. And he said, my cousin was a dentist. And you know what? He could run for mayor or run for county and win because he changed and transformed so many lives through his dentistry, and they know him. And so it's like we are a nation of people that don't know each other, and we have these very strong views of people, and we think very strongly about things we don't know. How do we break that? That's the thing that's killing us.
So that's interesting because I just appointed the first Puerto Rican native as a county judge in eastern Kentucky, which is close to Owsley County. And the reason it's possible is he knows everybody and they know him. And once they have that real relationship, everything changes.
Yeah. How do we get the real? If you are in your silo and all you hear is this, and you only listen to this channel and you only watch this news, and you go to the church, your church is all the same people, and it's this drumbeat of misinformation, disinformation, and just wrong, especially folk who say they love the Lord. Like, it's just wrong to be this definitive and judgmental of folk you don't know.
My pastor said, when your religion has been hijacked, when your God hates all the same people that you do.
How do we get here? So I'm saying, my job every day is having these conversations, these tough conversations. But I'm very hopeful that if we can break some of these barriers.
That's right.
How do we what's the solution to that? How do we get people to move? Like, I remember having this conversation with Reed Galen, and he's blah, 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 blah. And I said, but you live in Utah. So your children are not being exposed. You have this vision of this world that you want, but you've self-segregated, and your children have nothing but the sameness. So how do they even get, and we're doubling down on it now, we're banning books, and we're removing this and that. And I'm not very hopeful that we'll get there, even though I'm a hopeful, optimistic person.
I think it means that we've got to act with the same intentionality that those trying to push us apart are. And I think we've got to recognize that right now, division is being pushed at the highest of levels, that it's real hard to bring people together and to get them to know each other when we have a president that's saying just because you're a member of a different political party, that you're not the same type of American citizen. And also now these pushes about what America is or isn't, which is incredibly concerning. I think back to one of Reagan's final speeches when he talks about one of the beauty of America is the fact that you can move here from another country, legally of course, and become an American. That was Ronald Reagan, who was the standard bearer for the Republican Party for so long, and now you hear the exact opposite and almost pretending that speech or that it didn't
exist.
happen
Right.
or that
Right.
value didn't exist.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will